I'm Kylie Bartlett, social media commentator and strategist. I'm interviewing small business owners and tackling their biggest social media challenges live on the show. I'm on a mission to talk about what social media really is and how to successfully apply it to your business. It's SME for SME, social media education for small, medium enterprises. Hi everyone, on today's episode we get to chat with fashion homeware retailer Amanda Jane from Eclectica, who shares with us some great lessons around why it doesn't pay to be controversial on social media. Amanda shares her eclectic approach to building a loyal social media community. We've got a great tech tool to share later in the show that will reduce your need to have large hard drives and massive virtual private networks in your business. But first, let me share a little bit more about Eclectica and what I got up to when I visited their business. Eclectica's shop front is like eye candy for any retail lover. Consciously stocking a lot of locally made products, Amanda's range includes some of her own made jewellery and clothing designs, as well as her mum's knitting products, and amongst the store are many surprises, including a green thumb who pots terrariums and plant art out the back. How cool is that? I myself couldn't resist a little bit of retail therapy amongst this fabulous selection. It's no wonder Amanda's social media organically grows, sharing stunning visuals with a personal creative flair people naturally want to follow. Please welcome to this week's episode, Amanda from Eclectica.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I have been counting down the sleeps to have you on here. You're absolutely one of my favourite stores in Geelong, and to have you on the show is an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And I first want to talk about how much of a compliment that I have been getting about my stunning necklace.
It suits you. Really
supplied
nice
by you. I noticed that you've got some new pieces on today too.
Yes, that one's made by me. That one's not made by me. But
all your jewelry's stunning.
Yeah, I love colour.
Hence why I wanted to come in and interview you and talk about how you've used your store with homewares as well as fashion to be able to build this massive following on social media.
It's fun.
Okay, and now I know you're a very modest lady, but I'm going to ask you to do a bit of bragging here. So, brag to us. How have you built this incredible following? In particular, I've noticed recently in Instagram has been huge for you. So, talk to me about how have you gone about it?
Pretty much just have fun with it and put on what I want to see. So
okay, stop there. This is a really interesting one. So what you want to see. So what you're saying there is that you're putting yourself in the customer's shoes and thinking about if you were a customer shopping in a fashion or a homewares retail outlet, this is what you'd want to see if you're following a brand, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, pretty much. So very sensory. Like to be stimulated through the eyes. So if I am happy with what I shoot, then hopefully everybody else is. Yeah.
And so are you doing all your photos on your iPhone, or have you got a professional camera, or how?
It's just on my iPhone mostly, iPad occasionally, but it's just so instant. I'll be doing something, I go, oh, this will make a really good shot, and then I'll do it.
And are you using filters?
Mostly filtered, yeah.
Great, so you're using a filter to put the product into the best light.
Yeah, the best light.
So that it's got that attractiveness about it.
And if there's something I want to feature, I'll use that little circular little filter, and I love it, yeah.
So I've noticed that you're quite quirky with your photos. So tell me about, like, they're not just your stock standard, here's a candle, here's a bowl of moisturiser, like you do these wacky little quirky photos. So what's happening there?
I like to have fun, so and because the shop is fun, it needs to relate that back to the store and how it feels. I think people have fun, so I'll have an animal with something, or I don't know what it is, wrap your cookie jar and its head will be off, or I don't know, I just
you're very clever like that. And what about your little mascot?
Scarlett, the little stuffed parrot on the counter. Yeah, she occasionally features in the photos.
And I think what you're getting at there, and I think you just do it intuitive, Amanda, because you are naturally a creative lady. Yeah. But for the viewers and for people watching it, what you've done is create a personality. So you've got Scarlett, the parrot. It's a parrot, isn't it? That's got a personality, and every now and then Scarlett has a conversation. And I think that's really important. That rather than saying here's a pillow, or as I said, here's a moisturiser, you're actually bringing some personality into it. Yeah. I've noticed also you are incredibly quick at responding to people's comments, whether they're giving you some great compliment about a product or asking you a question. So tell me the rationale and the strategy behind that.
That's about really people realising there is a person behind the camera. They know there is, but when someone I think they like to feel good and
and feel special, right? They just
Yeah.
want to feel like, oh, I haven't just left a comment and this business is too big to even notice me.
It's very, very important in my eyes. But sometimes if it's at night time, I will leave it till the next morning because I'm not at the shop 24/7, so I will leave it a certain gap.
Yeah, great. I'm actually going to hold you up there and talk about that in a little bit more detail because I think you've just touched on a really important point. You don't do on social media what you can't sustain. That's what I believe anyway. And what happens is a lot of people get so excited that someone's left them a comment and it might be at 11 o'clock at night and they can't help themselves and they go and respond. But what you're actually doing is telling the public you're open 24/7.
And I don't want to be tied that much to it.
That's great. So I think that by having those working hours of responding quickly, but after hours responding the next day is actually educating the public of, you know, you're not going to get a lovin' from me, you know, at midnight or on the weekend if you're not...
Have a life.
You have a life, right? And I think that's you're setting up a really great routine and strategy there. So I'm going to ask you, what's been your biggest social media lesson to date?
That was a Facebook lesson.
Okay, tell us about it. What happened?
I asked a simple question. What do you all think about using... having photographs being taken in stores?
Yeah, okay. So this is getting a bit controversial here. You put up what you thought was an innocent question of what does everyone think about photos being taken in stores and what you mean by customers or the public taking photos of your products.
Yeah.
And you thought it was innocent?
In my mind, it was very innocent. I
And
just
what
wanted
happened?
to know was I in the dark ages thinking it was wrong taking photos of labels of... It was definitely...
Where products were made and...
I agree totally. If you're going to take a photo to send a friend, do you want me to buy this? Or it was just protecting my own livelihood.
Assets.
And people that sell their things to me, handcrafted things and artists. So it just went...
What happened?
Crazy, and it was taken really negatively.
So what, people started chiming in and writing, I'll do what I want?
Yeah, I'll do what I want. How dare you tell us we can't take photographs in store? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And just,
got out of hand,
I left
right?
it for a little while and I thought, no, that looks really unprofessional. So I took it down.
Yeah. And so big learning from that is probably to steer away from the controversial side unless it's a part of your brand, because you're a happy, beautiful...
happy, joy.
You are. And to see that on your page, I can appreciate you.
It wasn't nice, and it was a really innocent question in my eyes that I will never do anything.
Yeah, and great learning though, right?
Yeah,
about
really great learning.
Probably sticking a little bit more to the friendly rather than a question that can start to poke people and they go, right, they flare up, and because customers always think they're right?
Yeah.
And so what else could you, if you were a small business now starting out again, what were some tips that you could give the public or people that are watching the show to go about creating what you have? I mean, you haven't been on it that long. I mean, I remember you and I met maybe 18 months ago and you were just dipping your toe in, and now look at you. You're selling from social now, aren't you?
Yeah, nearly most times I post something will be, can
So
you hold
someone
me
will
that? Or,
And you're shipping interstate?
Interstate. I sent a little goat the other day, this big to Perth.
Because they saw it on Facebook and Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So give us some tips. If we were starting out, how would we go about it?
Know your brand and know how you...
Do you know
your own work ethic?
Yeah.
And know your style. People try to get a bit edgy. I don't get too edgy. Just know who you truly are in business.
One thing I've noticed that you've been doing a bit lately is really personalising your posts. Like there was a gorgeous one of you sitting on your veranda a couple of weeks ago, and I saw it went off on social media.
I learnt this from you, actually, because I was tossing up whether I should just do product. It gets too personal, and I was missing doing personal on my business page. So and I was toing and froing, and you said make it personal, and I did that one time. I got a lot more likes than my last one did, and it does. It always, because people want to see.
Yeah, so that would be one tip that you would give small business people, is to bring some person into the business and not make it all about product.
Yeah. Even my feet in it sometimes gets more likes than, I'll take something on the ground and put my feet.
Do you know what it is?
Strange.
People are sticky noses. People just love to know what's going on behind the curtain. And I think that's really important that we show that personality.
Yeah,
so something else that you hit on as well around that whole quirkiness and intrigue through photos. So would you give people tips around making your photos a little bit more fun than just, as I said?
I guess it depends what you're selling as well. So I can have fun with all of my products.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky. I don't know
But
what
you make
else.
them quirky.
Yeah, quirky is good because quirky is the shop.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
and my personality, it has to come through. Yeah, I have to enjoy it. So.
Do you do all your own social media or do you outsource it?
I don't know if I could give it up because I like to do it myself.
You know, you're the second guest that we've interviewed that said, I'm not giving up my baby.
I don't know, maybe I'm a control freak. I love to do it, and probably do it daily. Not too many, ever too many. I think people don't like to see too many.
But I think that, again, what I'm seeing with the trend with the businesses that are really succeeding with social versus those that are kind of hit and miss is that the owners are passionate about social and are doing their own social media. So what I'm hearing here is you couldn't give that up. You enjoy it.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a chore to you.
Yeah. No, not a chore at all. It's as good as being behind the counter serving people.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing that with us. So let's have a chat about what have we learned from this week's episode. Our top takeaway tips for this week are: number 1, personalise your posts. People buy from people that they know, like and trust. Number 2, make your posts attractive with intriguing photos that tell a story and tease your followers. And number 3, respond to all comments and posts left by your community. If people have gone out of their way to engage with you and your brand, it's important you respect them by responding in a timely manner. Amanda, I just want to say thank you so much for stepping out of Eclectica and coming here and spending time with us. It's been an absolute joy interviewing you, and I'm looking forward to seeing this episode go live in particular.
Thank you, it was fun. Thanks.
Yeah, it has been great.
Yeah.
Okay, now for this week's tech tool. Today's tech tool is a tool called Dropbox. Now, many of you will have already heard of or are already using Dropbox, but I still do come across many businesses that haven't, so I thought it would be still valuable to share this tool with you. So Dropbox is like a big hard drive in the cloud that you can save all kinds of files and access on any device, whether that be a laptop, desktop, tablet, phone, as long as it's got Wi-Fi access. You can also use it to share files with anyone in the world. I use Dropbox as my laptop's backup service. If my laptop blew up, I wouldn't lose a single file because my files are syncing to Dropbox in real time, all day, every day. Give Dropbox a try and be sure to let us know what you think. Okay, that's it for another episode of SME TV. We hope that you found that episode with Amanda to be valuable and that you're going to be able to implement some of those great tips back into your business. If you'd like to keep the conversation going, head on over to our Facebook page, leave us a comment, and we'd love to hear from you. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors and in particular the Geelong Chamber of Commerce. So on behalf of myself and my amazing partners, The Object, for putting this incredible production together, we want to say thank you to you, the viewer, for tuning in. So until next week, may your social media news be great news. See you soon.